Hello everyone, I'm CZ Lumen, and this is StarCraft2. What I have for you here is a matchup between Terran on the bottom right hand corner of the map, played by Who's Sly, versus Applejuice, playing as the Protoss forces in the upper left hand corner. From here on out, when I call out comparison between like army workers, mineral, resource collection of anything, or supply of say 10 to 14 workers, the first number is going to represent the Terran forces, with the second number being the Protoss. Now, according to the replay information, there was a good amount of diversity in forces. The game goes on for a little over 13 minutes, and so we should see some pretty good fights throughout the match. The question is, what kind of strategies is each side going to use, and if anything interesting actually happens, or if it's just going to be a brawl to the death. I'm going to skip forward here just a little bit, just to skip this kind of like early game business. Not a lot is going on aside from just a little bit of exploration between the probes, and I don't think the SCV does. Yeah, Terran is a little late here, doing a little bit of investigating, seeing that second Nexus come up, or the Nexus come up in the expansion. And then seeing that, but does not scout whether or not Protoss is already mining gas. So maybe a delayed gas. Depends on who you ask and if that's important or not. But that building up in gas could be an indicator of going for like more a high-tech build or air toss versus basically just going all in with a bunch of zealots. We're just going to enjoy this little bit of combat here. Adept does go out, plays a little bit of a shoot and scoot, gets a little bit of damage done against these Marines, but nothing too bad. Is this going to be a 1-1 opener? No, we actually have a back to barracks, so this might be a bio-based army by the Terran player. Adepts going in to try to do as much harassment as possible. Do they get any drones? No drones or workers do go down for either side, and just a little bit of an offset of army supply here in losing, so not really a whole lot happening. I'm like, it's really hard to like fill up this space. It's like, yeah, you know, both sides are just building up their economy. We have a third expansion going on with the Protoss, and they're deciding to go with a stalker-based army against what appears to be more of a bio-based. But you can always expect tanks being deployed along with the Terrans, although this is something I normally don't see, and that is SCVs actually joining the front in probably trying to keep these tanks topped off and going, which I mean, it makes sense, but yeah, building bunkers here also makes sense. Probably could have scouted that and then built the bunkers back here and not alerted the Protoss, but strategy was thrown out the window here, or not necessarily thrown out the window, but hey, decisions were made. These stalkers do not get a whole lot of work done trying to take care of that. And in fact, that was actually pretty well played by the Terran, despite my little bit of criticism there. Terran has claimed this area for itself, as well as canceled the barracks, or the bunkers here. Have an observer just kind of sneak forward and be like, where did they go? That's it? I would imagine at least had if the Terran could like just chill out here and relax, that would have been funny. Just like come out like when the Nexus gets built again and they just never investigate. But Terran decides that enough work was performed, so it is time to go back and basically have a little bit of R&R at home. I'm a little surprised. Okay, there's some medevacs. Let's say like we do have like these siege tanks being able to rebuild, but no medevacs is kind of not something you really want. But stalkers do come in here to do a little bit of harassment, knock down one probe, which, you know, that's definitely worth it. Out of 46 workers for the Terran side, knocking out one probe is a pretty big hit to the economy. I mean, that's what would that be? Like 2%? So I mean, if you have 50 workers and you kill one of the workers, that's yeah, 2% of the economy basically goes down. So the Terran economy here is facing a severe recession from the loss of that one worker. It's going to be a whole minute before they can recover from that, as these workers are an investment. They take a little over a minute in order to pay for themselves, bringing in 40 minerals per minute. And I believe that's game time, so that's a little bit faster under the faster category, of which the game time is played at normally. I think there's actually a competition where basically these pro players play at a faster rate, which is just insane, because at the fast speed setting, you're already pushing human limits. And so this just a little bit faster really brings that up just a little bit more, making any kind of mistakes or any kind of problems even more severe. So a recall is, we have a drop in the back of the base here, which is fantastic if this Colossus didn't exist. that is not what you want. Yeah, probably picking up and leaving. At the moment that battery overcharge, oh, that was painful. Wow, let's go back to that. My goodness, that was a good play on here. And so what's going on is we have the Protoss basically trying to keep the Terran at bay and distracted over here, and seeing what they can get done with these stalkers, these blink stalkers. And in order to get that attention away from the front of the base, you attack from the side. And here we have a couple of fully loaded medevacs moving on over here, kind of giving them their position away by doing a scan. Not bad, a little bit of attack, although this Colossus showing up right here. It almost looked like it just came out of nowhere, but we do have two Colossus on the field. And then preemptively these stalkers get ready to knock this plane out of the sky. That hurts so much. that was straight up denied. Observer back here just making sure that medevac is not going to survive, and it does not. Good job on the Protoss side for getting proper stalkers in line to make sure that those medevacs did not do any more damage than they had to, as well as like backed up by these Colossi. These Colossi seeing the bio-based army. So this is what I talk about when we talk about counters. The Protoss counter to a big bio army is the Colossus, being able to just like mow down lots of these bio units. Not exactly what you want, especially once extended thermal lance comes into play, and you can just see just all of that damage get laid down. One of the Colossi do get taken out, as it is definitely a prime target because of that, just how much damage that they can apply. Good little attack though, but backing off to lick your wounds is definitely a good option here. Both sides are kind of poking and prodding each other, trying to figure out what they can get accomplished and what they can't. A lot of that was pain. I wonder how many Zealots actually fell down there. Okay, hold on. I want to see. So from their perspective, I'm going to watch this here. Okay, so here is the Protoss perspective trying to deal with this Terran threat. Seeing these forces here. Okay, we got this little battle going on. So I backed up just a little bit too far, but this is pretty good. Doing a shoot and scoot by the Marines and Marauders, knocking down one of the Colossi with those Stalkers and Zealots falling back. Wow, that Zealot is on fire. Those shield batteries definitely do pay for themselves, right? It's always interesting, like watching the players, like what their perspective is. Okay, so we're gonna see. Not paying attention here. Really looking for that army, that Terran army. It's amazing how much of that fight actually happened without the Protoss even knowing. Oh, that is so painful. I gotta see that. This is a quirky little strategy here. This is. Yeah, it is incredible just how much gets done with that, with like off screen. Okay, so it goes back here. I mean, like, you have this visual shield here that does prevent the enemy from being able to see you. These air units are providing vision, and this is very much a one-sided event where Terran was able to attack Protoss, with Protoss not being able to fire back. And this, what a good little fight! That was solid little strategies or tactics right there. Zoom out a little bit here. This little ball of force, 53 army supply to 24. Protoss definitely needs to build up its forces, but we have 54 to 63 worker count, so Protoss is in the lead in that sense. But I'm guessing the losses is going to favor Terran. Yeah, Terran does do a good job of like mitigating losses, especially with those siege tanks and playing more defensively as much as possible. Ah, there's the Dark Templar. With no Raven out on the field, you do need a tech lab on that starport in order to get a Raven. I honestly do not. Wow, we have a lot of of these guys around. This is actually kind of fun to watch in slow motion. That Dark Templar did not get a whole lot of work done. I want to go back and see how exactly that came out. Where's that warp prism? Okay, here's the warp prism. We have some Dark Templar here. The little icons are different. Yeah, we have a Dark Templar. Why are their icons different? I didn't know that was an option. Like, look at this. You have two different types of Dark Templar. Are there? There's not two different types of Dark Templar, are they? There are. There actually are. Look at this. Okay, I learned something today. So he has just the one blade, and he has this basically dual sights going on. I wonder if that's like random. I wonder what determines that. They do get a lot of work done, however, though, since there's no kind of detection here aside from a good scan, which is definitely very helpful. These Dark Templar do seem to get a lot of work done, but the exchanges is still favoring the Terran side, so it's not really what you want. But this has pushed Terran into that 2 base, with Protoss expanding into that into a 4th expansion. So again, this level of attention just constantly keeps the Terran's focus back at home. Which is, so now especially now that the Terran is trying to like save up as much resources as they can in order to do those scans, these Dark Templar have more than paid for themselves, in my opinion. That's interesting. Good job hiding those Dark Templar right. You could probably like actually move your Dark Templar, just like have a whole bunch of them in corners of the base, just to be as obnoxious as possible. And they would probably, like, as long as Terran doesn't build a Raven, like, you'd have to scan it or build missile turrets. And yeah, I wonder if that's actually happened. I know when I played StarCraft2 for what little I did, that was just something that was fun to do, was just have Zerglings and stuff burrowed all over the place. Dark Templar is not situated in a good spot in order to stop this from landing, but that's not what he wanted to do. He wanted to perform as much damage as possible. He does get a couple hits in with his double scythe. And we have a Marine drop back here. We did have a Marine drop back here. I don't know how much work it got done, but we're going to go back and we're going to see this. Yep. Okay, two full. Okay. Just thinking like two full medivacs. They're definitely going to knock out some of these workers. I'm going to fast forward just a little bit. I'm going to increase the speed. Colossi and Stalkers inbound. Really doing a good job. Like this brings the attention back to the Protoss base with Protoss. Protoss definitely do not want this anywhere here, but with no air units, yeah. there's not much the Protoss can do. Worker count is pretty much even, 46 to 47. Army supply is in favor of the Terran, 67 to 48. I wonder if they knocked out. Oh, here we playing a dangerous game. There we go. I don't know if that was necessarily the best decision you could have made with that Dark Templar, but there we go. Seeing that observer knocking that out, definitely what you want to do. A couple marauders staying back here, which is definitely smart. Just have a couple of guards, making sure that your workers are working properly and not taking any smoke breaks. Vikings flying around the map. Vikings are pretty cool. I like the lore, apparently, is that the Vikings are as much of a threat to the pilot as they are to everybody that the pilot's shooting at. Just because of like the transform and stuff like that. They're apparently a high skill. It requires a lot of skill in order to fly one of these, apparently. That was hilarious. I gotta go back and see that again. I wonder if either side knew about this. Nope, they both had the right idea. Yeah, he just looks like Terran just wanted to attack there. And Protoss doesn't have any vision back here, so there was no indication of this. This was just a complete accident by both of them. That's funny. Alright, here comes this little bio army supply with a Viking to help knock out those Colossi. Because Colossi are so big that they do get hit by air units. Or, yeah, they do get hit by air units. Army supply has been balanced out 78 to 85. Protoss does have the lead in that sense. And if all of the army supply is here... Okay, we have 2 more Colossi inbound. Yeah, it looks like this is basically all of the Protoss army. Pretty sure the army, or the Protoss here, wins this fight. There's not a whole lot of contest here. The only thing you can do is pick up those Marines, or this bio army, and run as fast as possible back home. That would be my best word of advice here, but doing a little bit of shoot scooting and getting some of those, knocking out those zealots. Definitely need to position some siege tanks in order to blow these guys apart as much as possible. But it looks like he's doing a delay tactic, doing a bit of shooting and scooting across the map, all the way around the center here. Just to buy time is what it looks like. I believe that's my best guess is what the objective is there. Was to just buy as much time as possible with these forces. And he did a fantastic job. Because now the entire Protoss army is back at the Protoss base, giving this Terran enough time to try to pump out units to counter what's going on. And Terran is pretty good on gas, but it looks like he's having a hard time keeping up on what production he wants to do. A lot of Vikings are getting ready to are being manufactured to handle these Colossi, but Vikings don't, unless they land, they don't do a good job against Stalkers or Archons or Zealots. So he does need to knock out these Stalkers as fast as possible, and then let his Marauders do as much damage as he can to counter this ground force. Those tanks did not last long. Denied! Good game is called by the red Terran player. That was a good fight. I want to say that was definitely a good fight for both sides. There was a little bit of back and forth. I want to know what your thoughts on the decisions and army builds of these two players. Also, what your thoughts were about that delay tactic of moving all the way around here and try to get the Protoss to stay away from your base as much as possible. I thought that was a pretty good move. A few drops back here. Also did a good job trying to keep the Protoss back at their base and away from this, but Protoss really did a good job just containing the Terran into the main and the natural which was like GG, like double capitalized GG by the Terran player. Normally I just see lowercase GG. Oh, here he's getting attacked back here. Does he? And he doesn't have. Okay, he might not have a scan available, but to actually scan this. So I'm thinking that the Terran definitely appreciated this game. Really enjoyed this. Really thought this was just a good, challenging match, and good on him for sportsmanship. Getting ready to do a drop over here, but really not much to write home about with 4 Marines. Oh, and a photon cannon right there. I don't know if. Yeah. Good game. Good game.